What you want, doesn't matter.
It is over.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Insiders. And this is a big one. You guys have asked us for this for a long time, ever since we have started 4 months ago. So we are here today with Wrestling Daze. Wrestling Daze is with us. Welcome, man. It's good to finally get you on the show.
Hello. It is an absolute pleasure to be on the show. Wanted to make sure that, obviously when we could get this together and could make this happen, that it was going to be something special. And I really think that's where we are. Hello, everyone. How are you? I've taken over. Look at me. I'm over here now. I'm an insider. We wanted to make sure that this was something very, very special. And I think that's what this is. This is going to allow people to obviously ask their own questions, get their thoughts and feelings across. And I think we've got like people calling in. Is that where we are?
In essence, that is what's going to happen. Yes. So what we did was we had a little contest over the last few weeks, and they are, yes, I am coming down from the heavens, Daze.
It's like the voice of God. It's like the voice of God is talking. This is weird.
Yeah, so we ran a little contest, and we had some people that did the things we needed them to do, and so we got in touch with them, got their emails, and we will essentially have them coming on to the show with us as well as people in the chat. We're going to try to get some comments from people in chat, some questions from them along the line as well. So yes, sir. Yes.
Hey,
sir.
you know, Randy Orton. I hear voices in my head. That's exactly the vibe I've got right now. I'm just kind of sat here all innocent, and I'm just, I hear voices in my head, and they sound like Joe from the inside.
I wonder if Randy's voices sound like me too. That'd be awesome.
I wonder if you're my sister Abigail. You know, like how she's taken forms of things that people like yes. Braun can see Alexa. Maybe you're my sister. Maybe I've got Joe from the Insiders. This is magical.
That would be a very scary thought, actually. Yes, it would be a very scary thought.
For both of us.
As always, guys, as well as me coming out from the sky, I have my co-host Jeff is here also.
Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. How are you, buddy? Jeff?
Doing good. How are you?
Whoa,
really
that's booming. You really, I mean, I don't know what God sounds like, but I would say it definitely sounds like Jeff. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Bang,
yes.
Just booming through.
There you go. And we also have Jody with us tonight. Jody, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
Doing very well.
I would say Jody was an angel. That's what I would say.
Oh.
I would say Jody.
I say you're full of crap.
I tell you, it's quite unnerving hearing voices and then having them voices swear at you. It's kind of...
Oh my!
No, this is going to be good.
What a way!
I feel like I'm on trial. I feel like it's really weird. It's kind of
reminds me of an old Star Trek episode. I think when he used to, the guy would be in the court. I think it was William Shatner in one of the Star Trek movies. Is in the middle of the court, and all he could hear were the voices of the Klingons around him trying him, but he couldn't see them. So there you go. It's like a Star Trek set.
Yeah, and what people won't know is I actually said to Jeff before this started, I was like, I'd be really good. I don't know if it's possible, but is there a way that you can just like chuck me up on screen or something? I'm now really regretting that because I'm sat here with voices booming at me, and I'm just kind of like, oh. You're watching Wrestling Daze slowly melt under the pressure. The lights are too bright.
We can change it up a little bit.
No, it's fine. The lights aren't bright enough. In all fairness, you know what I mean, I live for the light.
Daze is at the beach.
Actually, that is better. That is better. Look at that. I always take my Fiend doll with me when I go to the beach.
Oh man, awesome. Well, look, this has been a long time coming, and again, we're glad that you could take some time. I know you were streaming for 1,000 days straight or something along those lines.
It felt that way.
So I knew it. Obviously I knew you were pretty busy. So we're like, yeah, finally got you to give us some time to get this in, which is awesome. We'll just start off a little bit like we do with some normal interviews. So, what I've got to ask, because just something off the top of my head, what we ask this of a lot of our interviews anyway. What got you into wrestling?
Yeah, well, my cousin. It was my cousin that got me into wrestling. I've said before on the watch longs, it's so weird because wrestling just didn't exist in my world. I didn't know it was a thing. I not a clue. Like, it was this whole different thing that just I didn't know about. So it's kind of the only way I can explain it is it's like living your life in a dark room and then finally someone turns the light on. That's the best way to explain it. I mean, obviously I was enjoying my life because I didn't know anything any better. But the moment that videotape went into the player and my cousin went, "Watch this," everything changed. Like everything changed, because you just go, "What is this? I don't even understand what I'm watching." They don't like each other, and then they don't like each other, and they're having this to settle their differences. Well, and that happens in in America. No, okay, right. Well, let's watch this. I mean, obviously, I didn't speak like that when I was young, but that's the kind, you know what I mean? And then, you start to see the characters, and you start to get into the storylines. And as soon as it finishes, there is no other option but to rewind. I mean, back in the day, you had to rewind, kids. Yeah, you have to rewind the tape all the way back, and then go right. Well, I was 21 then, so I'm not worried about it. So yeah, I had to rewind all the way back. Go back to the beginning and then go all the way through. And then when you would go back to when you'd go to car boot sales or flea markets, things like that, all I was doing was looking for. I was like a heroin addict. That's what I was. I was like, I needed another hit. I was just I needed another videotape. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's only so many times you can watch WrestleMania 9, and I would say once is enough. So, but as a kid, you just need more and more. So yeah, it's my cousin. My cousin got into it, and then he got me into it, and he doesn't watch it anymore. He hasn't watched it for about 20 odd years. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that as soon as I got the bug, that was it. I was hooked.
Oh, there you go. So many people will tell us that, they got it from someone. I mean, for me, it was my dad. And when we talk to people like that, it's always like somebody kind of turned them on to it. So, but I hear you with the videotapes, man. That's my era. Going and renting them from video stores. So when the pay-per-views would come out, you're only shot back then, because in America they were, oh my goodness, $120 probably back in 1980s, which was ridiculous. So you're a kid 13 years old, you're not getting $100 to spend on a pay-per-view. So the only way you could watch them were the videotapes, and you'd have to wait sometimes 3 months, 4 months until the tape would come out of the show. So yeah.
Okay. Did you ever go to a close circuit event?
No, I never did. Nope. I did not.
I'd love that. And this is something that I've been doing a little bit of looking into, because I didn't really know what it was, but I know that the early WrestleManias were not pay-per-view; they were closed circuit events, and that means nothing to me. I don't know what that means. But what it was that basically they were sending the message out, the video out, the feed out, but only to certain locations. It's not like pay-per-view where it goes to everyone's home. Closed circuit is that it would go to the theaters. and things like that. And then you would buy your ticket to go to the theater or the cinema or the town hall or wherever that was showing it. And then you would be with a load of people watching it on the big screen. And so that's how they used to distribute like the pay-per-views back in the 80s. They did it by
and now that you mention it, they still kind of do that at certain places. We have places here called off-track betting where you can go there and they'll have all kind of stuff. They'll have sporting events and stuff playing in there and things like that. You can go in there and pay with your credit card, and then you have a little TV screen all to yourself, and you could pretty much tune into a lot of that stuff. Or like you said, they'll do it in certain movie theaters and stuff too. They have a big game like the Super Bowl. There's a theater close to me where you can go in, sit down, have something to eat, and they actually have the Super Bowl on, while it's in there. But yeah, I think I know where you're coming from now. I kind of do remember that. So, yep.
Don't they do that in casinos now too?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
I mean, we don't really have that. I mean, obviously now you can maybe watch it in a few pubs over here, but it's just the pay-per-view. It's you know what I mean? It's not like got a dedicated feed. It's not as if WWE have rung up the pub down the road and said, would you like to show the event? They just ordered it like everyone else has from home. So, but back in the 80s, there was a different arrangement. And that's what closed circuit was. So, it was really interesting when you said that it was like $100 to go and see it. That got me thinking, I wonder how much it was if you went to the cinema, if there was one that was close, or the theater, or one of those. Because that whole side of the business I do find quite interesting. Because obviously it's gone now, hasn't it? That side of the business.
Oh, yeah. You can, for us, we had cable boxes, and there was always one of the channels on that cable box that you can go to the very end and and that's where you would tune into a pay-per-view. So I think for ours, it was channel 26, 27. You push the dial all the way to the end. That's where the pay-per-views would be on. But the only way you got them was to pay your cable company. So if we wanted it, it was that $99, $120, whatever. You paid them, and then they opened up that channel, so to speak. Otherwise, you were just watching through lines. So you could try to see. It'll pause at some point and stop, and you'll get a glimpse of it. And then all of a sudden, the lines will come back because the channel was scrambled until you paid them to use it. So, yeah.
Do you know, I remember doing that with something, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was wrestling. And it's weird you saying that because I'd completely forgotten I'd done it. I think there was a channel in the UK, and what it used to do was it used to just give you like 10 seconds of what was on for each channel so that you knew what was on. So it was kind of like a TV guide thing. But you would get, say, 10 seconds, and then it would go. And I'm pretty sure that I spent like hours just waiting for it to get around to the one that the wrestling was on. So I could just get like 10 seconds of that. It's all I need. I just need a hit.
It's kind of like they do with UFC now with their pay-per-views.
Yeah. Just like that. I mean, look, this is what we're saying. The kids today, they just haven't got a clue. Haven't got a clue how easy they've got. Oh, you kids today.
You don't know the pain.
Don't know the pain.
Although we do pay, my family do pay a decent amount to watch Premier League games. So you get that and we don't.
Yeah. I just imagine it is probably a bit more in the US, isn't it?
So before we go on here, I'm just going to shout hellos to some people because we have a ton of people in the chat here. Swamp Manor, hello. Daze Fan is here. Greg Lancelot is here. Monica King, hello to you. Sunny Wolf, EJ Movement is here. Rusty Shackelford is here. Dave in Real Life is here.
Hello.
Nails in NY.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. John Dioria, Austin 316, John Bates, James Chadwick, Eric Haberman, Killer Slaske.
Hello.
Brandy Smith is in the chat. Welcome, Brandy. Welcome, Brandy.
We love you, Brandy.
Hope you are doing well, Brandy. Nice to see you in the chat.
Brandy.
Yes.
Yes. You deserve it.
Lennon Young is in the chat. We've got oh my goodness, Hayden Garrett is in the chat. I know Hayden. Yes, General. I love this name, General Snotty Naughty. I absolutely just love his name. I no idea why. Trini says all Black Lives Matter. Welcome to you, man. Welcome to everybody who has joined us. It's great to have you guys. Dan T is here. So J14 is here. Welcome to everyone. So Daze, again, this is another question, a loaded question probably because there are so many of them, but we ask everybody this too. Two things, favorite match and then favorite live match that you've ever seen?
Favorite match, let's just go with Undertaker Shawn Michaels. I think I've mentioned it enough on the watch alongs. It might be a bit strange if I would just pick something different now. Yeah, we'll go with that. I think I was watching that with a friend who wasn't into wrestling, and it blew their mind. Like, it absolutely blew their mind. So I saw firsthand not only the effect that it had on me, what with it being Shawn and Undertaker, two of my favorites, and the streak being on the line and all of that, but I saw the effect it had on someone that had no idea about wrestling, didn't care about wrestling, and to watch their reaction, to see them jumping around with the false finishes at the end, like so invested in it. It's like it was really cool to see, actually, to see that effect. So that has got a really special place in my heart as a result. So yeah, I'll go with that match. In regards to best match that I've ever seen live, that's a really difficult one because I've not seen tons of live matches. I never went to like indie shows because as I said, really I've led a very sheltered life. There's no two ways about it. I obviously needed to be told that WWE even existed, so that didn't help. And so I still didn't know about an indie scene, right? So I kind of went through the 90s without really know. I thought there was WWE and WCW. That's about it. I didn't realize there was like this vibrant indie scene that was going on. So yeah, indie wrestling just never has really been on my radar. I'm certainly not against it, and I have actually been to a couple of shows. I think the one that's probably got a special place in my heart would be the Elite, which was Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks against British Strong Style, which was Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven. That was, again, a story I've told before. That was in Wolverhampton. I want to say 2017. And there was a room that could hold about 500 people, and there was 1,000 people in that room. I mean, just to say I've seen that match, I feel so honored to say that I was in the room for it, to say I saw Kenny and the Young Bucks, you know, some of the greatest wrestlers of this generation, taking on, you know, Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, who, you know, really matter to the UK scene. So it's a bit of a dream match. To say that I've seen it was, yeah, that's pretty special.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't gotten to see Kenny live, but I've heard. I know people who have, especially now that he's with AEW, and they've told me that it's. I mean, the people that I know that I talk to are big fans of his, but that would have been really awesome to see that match. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. It was obviously the main event, but the undercard was absolutely stacked as well. They had Tegan Knox, they had Pentagon Jr., they had Zack Sabre Jr., there was Mark Andrews, Jimmy Havoc, there was Leo Rush. The whole thing was just a who's who. Marty Scurll was there as well. It was just, it was literally a who's who. They just brought all of their friends to this one absolute mega show. So yeah, very, very special.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I do have, Daze, a couple of questions from Brandy for you, actually. So now that she's in the chat, I'll get right to them. So her first question for you was, Daze, has your perspective changed since being aware of someone who is blind listening to your streams? And have you considered what it's like for someone who might be deaf or has a learning disability that would be listening to the streams as well?
Brilliant question. And I do genuinely love this question because, yes, Brandy has definitely changed my perspective. I find now that when I'm doing streams, I will describe ring attires and the aesthetics of the arena a little bit more. People might have noticed that I'll talk about what the ring apron is like, what the ring canvas is like, the color of the ring ropes. We talk a lot about outfits now. We've been talking a lot about Zelina Vega's outfits, for example, but that actually came from me really focusing more on ring attire and not just taking it for granted that everyone was seeing what I was seeing. I know that there's a small majority of people that watch whilst they're at work. I know there's a small majority of people that watch maybe the next morning as they're getting ready. They'll put like the first couple of hours on as they're getting ready or whatever. I've had that feedback. I've had people contacting me and saying this. So, my perspective on that has changed. And Brandy was a massive, massive part of doing that. But I think it's difficult because where do you stop? Do you know what I mean? It's hard to know how far to go with it because you could spend the whole stream describing everything, and so trying to find that balance of calling the action, painting the picture, talking about the attire, talking about the arena, but then trying to get opinions across, trying to answer questions. It's a never-ending kind of balancing act. I think my approach to it is that I am more aware of it. I try to do the best I can, and if anyone feels that I could improve in certain areas, then DMs are open. Everyone knows where my Twitter is. Feel free to send in suggestions and whatever. Someone actually did send me an email a couple of days ago, and they said it would be really good if in the first hour you was to do a bit of a recap of current storylines. He says, I never watch the shows, but I really enjoy the streams, and I'm a big fan of the community. And this person was saying they don't comment, or I don't know how often they comment or if they comment, but he was saying that he kind of takes a back seat. So this was a suggestion that he put forward about, could I just give a brief overview about, right, not only have we got these matches tonight, but this is where we are with this storyline, and this is what's happening with this storyline. And again, it's a balancing act because there's a lot of people that will already know that stuff. And I'm aware that if I'm telling people things they just know, they might get a bit bored or might zone out, or I don't know. It's difficult. Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you please everyone? But I try, and I don't succeed, but I do try. In regards to like learning difficulties and things like that, I honestly do I take that into account? I just try to be open and honest and, as I said, as descriptive as I possibly can. If there was feedback that would help me in those areas, then I would only ever welcome that. But I don't know if I specifically tailor it for people with learning disabilities. I would need a bit more information on it. I think I would need a bit more information on it. I would hope that the streams are accessible to all. I'm always very conscious of people that are new to wrestling joining us and people that have been with it for a long time. And I know that scale exists. So I have to try and find a way of having fun and bringing people along that could be anywhere on that scale. So yeah, it's a constant battle and balancing act, but one that I really enjoy.
Brandy did say in the chat, everything is too much. The big stuff is just fine. So there you go. She also wanted to know, and this one's about wrestling itself. She said, can you think of a valet or a manager that was your favorite?
A valet or a man, whatever. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is always going to be Bobby Heenan, as a manager. When it comes to valets, I think that Sensational Sherry was very underrated. I think that I actually put up a tweet not long ago talking about the most influential female performers in WWE, and I put Sensational Sherry up there, and I was really surprised at the amount of people saying I was wrong. I mean, first of all, it's an opinion. I'm not sure if I can be wrong. Second of all, I was just surprised. I don't know if too many people now. I don't know if her legacy has carried through. for Sensational Sherry. I mean, what I remember of her is a fan, like one of the best wrestlers of her day, former champion, would wrestle when asked, but was an incredible valet. I mean, the work she did with Shawn Michaels, the work that she did with the Macho King, she did loads of different stuff. She worked with loads of different companies. And for me, she was women's wrestling, or she represented women's wrestling throughout the kind of late 80s, early 90s. And then obviously we got Alundra Blaze. So I kind of feel like in those really barren spells where women's wrestling was not treated with the respect that it deserved, there was some shining lights, and Sensational Sherry definitely was one. Sherry Martel is very highly thought after. So yeah, I think she's very much worthy of a mention.
Awesome. Yeah. No. And I think Brandy's going to do an episode of Hot Tag about Sherry as well.
I never got a chance to see the Waylon Mercy one, which I saw the thumbnail for the other day. So that got done. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
I'm all over that. I was desperately waiting for that to drop, and then I was gutted that I missed it. If anyone hasn't seen the Hot Tag episodes or Abby's Windows or anything that they're doing on this channel, make sure that you're checking it all out, because every time that I jump onto one, I'm always sticking around to the end, because it's always good stuff, and I really enjoy like the Hot Tag look back stuff. And I was waiting.
Brandy does a great job with that. A lot of research that she puts into it. So absolutely. I'm going to keep on going with some questions, because before we get to the live ones, I do have a lot of people who sent questions via DMs. So I've got a question for you from Moda. Moda sent a question. He wants to know, besides Taker, who is your favorite second wrestler of all time? Or besides Taker, I guess this is the second part of it. Which wrestler, when you first saw him or her, took your breath away?
Well, I mean, I can only give you the first answers that come to mind on that. So second favorite wrestler after Undertaker would be Shawn Michaels, which is why Undertaker Shawn had such a impact on me. In regards to a wrestler that took my breath away, this might sound weird, but I think it was either going to be Big Boss Man or Kamala. Big Boss Man or Kamala, because the very first show I ever saw, that when we was talking about it earlier, that videotape went into the machine. The tape that went in was Survivor Series 92, which isn't the greatest show of all time, but it's not a disaster either. But I'm sure it was Big Boss Man versus Nails, and I couldn't get my head around a police officer and a prisoner settling their differences in a ring. Like, as a kid, I was like, this can't be right. This can't be right. Like, we need to tell someone about this, because this can't be accepted. Even as a kid, I was like, this can't be right. This, and then you can imagine what my little brain was like when they brought Kamala out. So, but I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. I was like, this is not right, but it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So that both of them, I mean, obviously the Undertaker as well, but for maybe more quirky answer, Big Boss Man and Kamala.
Yes. The 80s personalities were all larger than life personalities. They really were. I mean, when you did the flamboyant costumes to the, like you were saying, the personalities that they would develop, the gimmicks that they had were just really larger than life people. It was really great. It was a great time to watch.
It was great.
And then I have a question for you from Mike Lister. Mike is a member. He says, my question is, in this current wrestling climate, do you believe that wrestlers such as Macho Man, which fits, and his gimmick would have been as successful as they were in the 80s and early 90s?
Do you know what? Actually, really, really good question. I think Macho Man would have been more popular today than he was even back then. Hogan wouldn't have been. The reason being that Macho Man, his run was stop, start, right? He would get like an intercontinental match at WrestleMania 3, which stole the show. So fans would have loved him for his in-ring work. Fans would have loved him today for his promos. Fans would have loved him because of his relationship with Elizabeth. right? So all of that would still work today. But what would really get across today is the fact that he was never booked as an unstoppable force. Macho Man was booked as someone that could be beaten. Macho Man lost to Warrior in that retirement match at WrestleMania 7. And it was only because of Jake the Snake biting him that, he came back. And then, he worked towards another championship. So he wasn't Cena and he wasn't Roman. He was someone that had peaks and troughs, ups and downs, but had a love interest and the showmanship and the promos and the in-ring wrestling. He had everything to be a success in any generation. I think he would have been as successful, if not more successful today than he was back in the day. Hogan, though, no way, brother, because he won all the time. And you see it now with Roman, and we've seen it with Cena. People don't want absolutely unbeatable superheroes that are Vince's boys. Do you know what I mean? Like, clearly Vince likes this guy. So this guy's only winning because Vince wants to push him to the moon, and the fans are going to reject that. You've got to have peaks and troughs. You've got to have stories. You've got to have intrigue and, do you know what I mean? Like twists and turns. So love that question. For me, Hogan doesn't work in 2020. Macho Man absolutely does.
It's funny you mention that because on our last show, I know Jeff mentioned about Drew McIntyre and the fact that they're making him look like just too much of a superhero. He's just looking like you can't beat him. That match against Dolph used how many finishers? And then all of a sudden he just pops right back up and he takes Dolph down and wins the match. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good point, but obviously Vince is still doing it. He obviously likes to do this with his champions.
Yeah, it's a big mistake. It's a big mistake because people will turn on on Drew eventually. I actually think his reign's been all right. I think a lot of this kind of lockdown period, I'm not trying to be too hard on it because you can't judge wrestling without fans. I mean, wrestling without fans is like hamburgers without the burger. Do you know what I mean? Like, we play a massive part in the product, and even WWE, Stephanie has said that. Like, I think she described us as the secret sauce, which I thought was a bit kinky. But I think that we do play a massive part, and we've seen how much of a part we play. And so I don't think it's fair to really judge what you're seeing on TV without a crowd, or what's worse than no crowd, that the fake crowd that they pay. Do you know what I mean? That still can't muster up a cheer. I've never seen less enthusiastic people in my life. It's as if they've been subjected to one of my 12-hour streams. Like the way that they're just standing there and they're just like, whoa, it's a chore. It's just a chore. I mean, in all fairness, they probably have had to do like 3 Raws in a row or something. Yeah. So by the end, they probably are like passing out. But man, come on. Not only are you getting to watch like wrestling live, some of the best performers in the world, you're getting paid to do it, and you can't even muster up a clap or a cheer. Just don't get it.
I think they could let the poor guys sit down, though, every now and then, right? They have to stand the entire time. I mean, let them sit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They could and they could rotate them as well. I mean, like, I'm not sure if Shotzi Blackheart is a wrestler or a crowd member now. I've seen her that many times in the crowd. Like, they don't even rotate the people. Like, I'm sure they've got like loads of people in the performance center that they could swap out and just give Shotzi a break, would you? Same with like Marina Shafir and all of these. At the moment, WWE has got wrestlers and like crowd that it pays for. It's very strange. It's a very strange time in wrestling.
Brandy said,
I also think that's
sorry, go ahead, Jody. Go ahead.
That's a good way to tell who WWE is pushing, though.
What? Who they're being forced to cheer?
Yeah, you can definitely tell who they're trying to push based on who they're booing, who they're cheering.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. They could be a little bit more enthusiastic, and they need to rotate them out a little bit.
There's loads they need to change. Actually, I mean, like looking at NXT, it's just this black void, isn't it? It's just this black void. I mean, there's no life. Even with the crowd, like there's no life in that NXT. I mean, like maybe it'll be different when it goes back to Full Sail. We get some crowds back and everything. But even before, like it felt, looking at what AEW has been doing and comparing it to what NXT has been doing, it really feels like when you compare it that NXT has really regressed. And I don't know why. I remember NXT being very strong with its, like, this is going to sound strange, but I know it had like strong Hazard tape kind of vibes. I remember it being all yellow and black, and it just had like this kind of Hazard danger vibe to it. And I feel like all of that has been stripped back, and now it's just largely turned into this black nothingness. I kind of feel like that's quite apt for 2020. If anyone wants to know what 2020 feels like, just watch an episode of NXT. It's just this black horribleness, this black void that's ultimately quite depressing. But it does have some... Go on.
Oh, Chalmers just said that AEW does it great in the comments. From watching them, and first of all, I think they have a much bigger advantage because they're doing stuff outdoors. I mean, when you have that outdoor arena going on there, I just think, it maybe gives you a little bit of a different vibe. You have, the way they have the fans and everything situated out there. You don't have that plexiglass and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm not going to say one's doing it better than the other, because obviously there's things about AEW that they're not doing 100% correct either. But like you said, I mean, the fact that they're out there entertaining us week by week by week, there has to be something said for that, because no one else is. Everything else shut down. And now sports are just kind of starting to get going. I mean, America, we've got baseball starting up now in a little bit, and they're going to use fake fans. They're putting CGI fans into the stands during the games that they televise. So basketball, I watched a little bit of that last night, the NBA, but it's so weird because there's no one in there, and the players can't even sit next to each other. So I have to give them, all of them. I mean, just for the fact that they're putting on shows to entertain us during this, I have to say kudos to them for at least trying to do it.
Yes, but Joe, wrestling is essential. Yeah, we know that now. Like, wrestling can't go away. If anyone asks, wrestling is essential. So it has to stay. It's like the nurses and the firefighters and the wrestlers, they just all go hand in hand. So, wrestling is essential. I love this CGI'd crowd in the baseball. Can I be one of them? I'd love to be CGI'd in. I don't know nothing about baseball, but I tell you, I've got enthusiasm for days. So I'd be like, yeah, come on, Mighty Ducks. Woo! Quack, 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 quack. I'd love it, man.
I was surprised they were going to do that. And I was watching it. In fact, Fox was talking about it because they're going to show a lot of the games. And it was just on today a little bit earlier on one of the sports talk shows. And they were showing pictures of, in fact, I guess the home teams are somehow going to have their home crowd. So what my guess is they're probably using old footage. They're probably taking footage of older games from that stadium and just fitting the crowd back into where they would be in that stadium and do the shots that way.
Is it not going to be out of sync, though? Because surely they're reacting to the game they were watching, not the game that's currently being played.
You would think so. Yeah, you would think. But I guess maybe, I don't know.
What if the guy gets out and the crowd's like, yeah! They're reacting to their match that they were watching, not the one that's... Yeah!
It's going to be crazy to watch, for sure. Yes.
I'm glad they're not doing that with the race.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, but we'll see. But yeah, it's been absolutely crazy, no matter which way you look at it with everything. All right. So, Jody, did you have anything for Daze before we start getting into the live stuff here?
Yeah, Daze. I want to know when you started watching the Daze stream and how you got into it.
How I started watching the Daze stream, or started the Daze stream?
I was trying to be funny.
But
yeah.
No, it worked, Jody. It worked. No one noticed.
How did you come up with starting? What made you decide, you wanted to start a stream?
Great question. It's something that I've wanted to do from the start. If you go back to my very first video is me. I love it, man. I love that video. Well, I don't. It's cringe. But I'm sitting there. I'm like, hello. Welcome to Wrestling Daze. And I am so serious. I am so serious. I'm like, please love me. Please love me. Please take me serious. What I've got to say does make sense. And I'm talking about who I think's going to win the Royal Rumble from 2016 or something. So I wanted, the whole point of the channel was never figures. The first video on the channel is not a figure video. I don't even think the second, third, or fourth is. Like, it was all about getting my points across and talking about wrestling. I was watching wrestling on my own. So I've told this story before. I was living in Southampton with my girlfriend, and we were watching wrestling together. And I would, as soon as it was done, I would turn to her, I'd be like, those vaudevillains, eh? Or whatever was on at the time. And she'd be like, I'll watch the show. I do not want to talk to you about it after, okay? And I'm like, sorry, ma'am, sorry. And so it kind of came apparent very quick that I needed to find another outlet. I needed to find somewhere else to talk about wrestling. So she was the one that actually recommended that the YouTube channel start so that I could go onto there and just talk about wrestling and, you know, share thoughts and opinions and stuff like that. So it's always been in my mind about live streams, but the problem was that up until 2018, I was working in an entertainment store. And so I wasn't able to watch the shows live. I'd be watching highlights or catching up on what I could, but actually sitting down watching 3 hours of Raw just wasn't happening. So I couldn't live stream something that I'm not watching. And if I was going to live stream it, it would have been the next day. Who's going to be interested in that? Like, all the results are out. The world's moved on. It just, until 2018, it wasn't possible. So once 2018 came around and I moved back to the Midlands, then it became possible for me to start to do the live streams. But it took a little time to kind of find my feet with it. I'm not someone that likes to start something and it not be right, if you know what I mean. I wanted the graphics right. I wanted everything in place. So I think it was kind of around May, June time of 2018 that the streams started. So it was quite a long wait for them to get going. But yeah, it was always in the back of my mind that that's what I wanted to do. So
there you go. There you go. That's awesome. Anything else, Jody, or shall we go to the live questions here?
Go for it.
Great question, Jody. That was a great question.
Well, I believe up first, I was gonna do a little thing where I was gonna play like a game show of This Is Your Life and have these people talk and see if you can guess who they were. But we won't go there.
Seeing as I've never heard these people before, that would be quite difficult, wouldn't it?
Well, some of them you should be a little familiar with. I know we've had some people from the community who may have chatted with you before. So yes, coming up first, we
Mama
have...
Daze. Is it Mama Daze? Is Mama Daze on the
We somehow got into Daze's house and had Mama Daze come on. Yes. But up first, we have our own Sunny Wolf. Sunny Wolf is up first. So we have her with us. Do we have her with us now? Sunny, are you there?
Yeah, look at that for an entrance. That's a great entrance. Sunny, hello.
Hi.
I love that entrance. You were kind of down here like this, right? And then all of a sudden, you just kind of like popped up like this. It was very impressive. Have you got a Timmy's? Have you got a Timmy's?
Sunny says hi.
Sunny receiving. Canada coming through.
I can only hear people from watching the stream from there, but I can't hear anyone here.
Oh, Sunny, is this being Dazist?
Uh-oh.
Is this being Dazist? Is this blocking me out? Sunny, can you hear me?
Can you hear Daze, Sunny?
Just a sec.
Oh, there's technical problems. There's technical problems.
I can hear you from my phone, but I can't hear you from
Sunny,
here.
if you...
Well, what? Pick up your phone then. We can pretend that we're having a chat.
Ask your question if you can hear us, Sunny.
One second, I'll switch things over.
Oh, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. This reminds me of
Just
Eurovision.
going to my phone. Can't hear nothing.
She's entertaining us anyway. We're getting some music.
Sonny, if you can't hear me, Tim Hortons is rubbish.
Oh.
Tim Hortons suck. Tim Hortons suck. Nobody likes them.
See, Wrestling says insiders let Daze touch the control buttons, didn't they?
Hey, I'm just banging away on stuff over here.
I can't even hear Daze. All I can see is Daze dancing.
I'm not dancing, mate. I'm not dancing.
Oh no, what did I do?
She saw Daze dancing, but she can't hear her.
Sonny did a thing and I don't even know what I did. Everything's just weight on my tablet.
Sonny did a thing and she doesn't even know what she did. Oh, Sonny did a thing and she doesn't even know what she did.
I think we actually just lost Sonny. I think Sonny is gonzo.
That's coming soon. That is definitely coming soon. Oh, she's gone.
That's a hit song. So yeah, Sonny dropped out. So we will continue our discussion here and let Jeff come up with somebody else. Guys in the chat also, I told you, let me know if you have any questions you want to ask as well. While we have some time with the chat, I can throw out some questions from you guys also. So throw us out some questions.
J14 says 10 out of 10 singing. Yes, J14. I see you.
Oh, we might have Sonny back. Hold on.
Verse 2. Here we go. Verse 2.
Yes!
He's back, and I think it worked. Hey.
Sonny.
Finally.
How can you hear me, Sonny?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yay!
Sonny, can I just say the insiders were saying some pretty awful stuff about Tim Hortons.
Shut your mouth.
You might want to have a word, mate.
Me and Sonny talk on Skype a lot. She knows that's not true.
Have you got a question, Sonny?
All right, Sonny. What?
Yes, indeed. I don't even remember if I asked you this one before, but your top 10 or 20 favorite bands that you listen to or you like.
Top 10 or 20?
10 or 20?
Why should we start with 200, shall we? Well, I might give you like a top 3 and you'll be happy about that. How about that? No, I don't know. Let me have a think. I really like... that's a really good question. It's a really hard question because I listen to so much variety. I mean, I've said this before, when you work in a music shop, you have to, because you have to have a decent knowledge of, like, if someone comes up and speaks to you about country or folk or metal or rock, or, you know, you've got to have just, even if it's a basic knowledge. And as a result of like digging into all of that, there's definitely things in all genres that I really like. So, you know, I mean, I love Johnny Cash. I love Glenn Campbell when it comes to like country. But then there's a load of folk stuff that I really like Bob Dylan's one of my favorite artists. So I love Dylan. I love the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. They're an American band from like the early 2000s, but their first album had a big influence on me. It kind of came at like a really cool point in my life, and it was just, you know, like one of those albums that you just really gravitate towards. So I really love those. And there's a band called Ocean Colour Scene from Birmingham, who again, my cousin was a massive fan of them. So whenever I went round, he'd be playing their albums, and I gravitated towards them. So I think if there's one thing you're going to learn about me, it's that I'm not able to kind of have original ideas of my own. Like people have to play me things or show me things, and that's how I get into it. So my cousin showed me wrestling, so I was like, okay, I like that now. And then my cousin played some music. I was like, okay, I like that now. I just don't seem to have an ability to find my own stuff. So, yeah, there's loads. I mean, you know, how can you not say the Beatles? How can you not say Led Zeppelin? Who's yours? What's yours? Who's yours? Not top 20. Just give us
top 10. I think you
top
should go top 10. Beatles, Rolling Stones, Queen, ABBA, AC/DC.
The classics, the legends.
Yeah.
Legends. You like? Did you say ABBA?
Yeah.
Did they make it over in Canada? Did they? I don't know how big they are in like America.
I got introduced to them by my music teacher. He introduced me to a whole bunch of music.
Just went, here's ABBA.
He's got a 1,000 playlist. A 1,000 playlist of music. He's like, oh yeah, I've got like 1,000 playlists. I'm like whole entire playlist. He's like, yeah. I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, they're a great band. I mean, they are, absolute icons. I mean, they are very much loved over here in like the UK and everything. And I think like America knows of ABBA. I mean, I'm sure it does. Yep. But I don't know why, but whenever I've seen films or things, I've never seen anyone speaking about ABBA. Like in American films, people always talk about like Queen, Stones, Beatles, things like that. But I never see that many mentions of ABBA. But they are very much loved over here. So,
with the way you were singing and dancing, Daze, I thought you were the lost member of Take That.
Wow. Yes, I am. I am.
I didn't realize you worked in a record store or music store. It's pretty cool. I did that when I was 17, so I can get where you're coming from there because you being in there, I was listening to everything. I would listen to jazz and new age music back then. I'd listen to obviously rock, some folk, some, a little bit of everything. Everybody had a different taste into what they played in the store. So I got a really big, plus I got a great discount. So my entire paycheck went right back to that store every single week. So, but it's really interesting. And even today, I love discovering like new stuff to listen to. Now I'm listening to, it's called synthwave, which is essentially, it's almost like you're listening to a background soundtrack of like 80s stuff.
80s kind of, what's it called? Is it not Outrun? I can't remember. Yeah, it's like electro kind of stuff, isn't it? I've been listening to that as well.
I like it a lot.
What do you like? Trance?
Jazz.
Yeah. Jazz, jazz is cool. I really like
Voodoo Daddy.
What jazz artists do you like?
Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
Ooh, I've never heard of them.
I've heard of
them.
I only know the classics like Dave Brubeck and John Coltrane, Miles Davis, people like that. Yeah,
for me it was jazz. I'm a little more like rock kind of funk jazz, again, from the 80s and stuff. I mean, George Benson and Earl Klugh did a lot of albums and collaborations together back in the 80s. So I'm more like into that. But yeah, I can listen to honestly almost anything. My parents are huge music fans and I grew up that way too. So absolutely love music. So, well, that's awesome.
There's a good rock punk band from my hometown.
Big Bad Voodoo Daddy is. It's a.
Is it what? Sorry. That sounds. And that's jazz, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. I mean, I'm not sure. What's it called? Because I don't think I want to put that in a Google search.
Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, save my soul.
Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. That's
I've seen some of them videos. Ooh, and it didn't sound like that. I can tell you.
Yeah, there's a good like a punk rock band from my hometown days.
What? Who?
Kasabian.
Oh yeah. Kasabian from Leicester. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, great band. I think they just lost their lead singer. Actually, I saw that he left like literally last week. So it's a bit of drama in the Kasabian world.
A little bit.
Well, thank you for your questions, Sonny, and appreciate you joining us. And we are going to
friendship love, you Sonny. Friendship love.
Have a good one. See you, Sonny. Bye. With her feed hat, there goes Sonny. And we are going to move on. I believe our next person up is Dave in real life. Dave in real life.
Hello, where is he? Here he is.
There he is.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, how you
Can hear
doing?
you.
switched over.
Yes. Yes. Can you hear us?
Yeah, sound. Yeah, cool.
Dave, how are
Awesome.
you, mate? Great to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Wow, yeah, this is awesome. This is very strange sitting here and actually being able to speak to people and when you see like just their names in the chat and everything. But yeah, this is really cool, man. This is really cool. Thanks for jumping on and asking a question.
Yeah. The question is, I've just started a YouTube channel, and I'm wondering if you could give me any tips on how to progress going forward.
Yeah. What's it on, Dave? What are you doing it on? Is it wrestling?
Yeah, it's wrestling at a minute, but I'm gonna do like films and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
going to be quite varied.
Yeah. Okay. So biggest tip that I can give you is make sure that you grow your social media, right? What you want to do is you want to actually spend a good couple of months. You want to still put up videos. Okay. So still keep working and everything and getting your videos up. Make sure you watch those videos back. And when you're watching them back, it can be difficult to do that. Watching yourself back isn't easy, and certainly not at the start as well. But you've got to know that you are going to relax into it. I mean, as you said, if you go back and watch my early videos, I'm nothing like I am now. So you will improve. You will get more comfortable, right? So watch the videos back, make the changes you need to make, but you've got to grow some kind of a following. You've got to get some sort of connections going. Otherwise you will just put up videos and they just won't go anywhere, because you'll put them onto YouTube and YouTube is just going to go, okay, well, I don't know what to do. No one's asked for this video, so it can go there and it will just get pushed to one side. What you need is to have people that once the video goes up, you're going to get a nice amount of people that are going to want to see it and want to see what you've got to say. And the only way that you can make that connection is on social media. So when I started, I spent the first few months on Twitter just connecting with people. I mean, I wasn't doing it necessarily because I had that plan in mind. I was doing it because, as I said at the start, I wanted to share my thoughts about wrestling. And I never had any intention of having a YouTube channel become, the success that it become. I just wanted to talk about wrestling. So it made no difference to me if it was on YouTube or if it was on social media like Twitter or Facebook or wherever. I didn't care. I just wanted to talk. So I was kind of growing them both at the same time. But in hindsight, in retrospect, I can look back now and I know that was so important that I had those connections with people, because I would see the same names. As soon as I would drop a video, the same people would be in the comments, and then it starts to grow. But you've got to get that following first. So, I mean, you're in a great place because obviously you've got this community, and people are going to jump in and want to see what you've got to say, and that you've got all of this, which is, it's a very, very supportive community. It's a brilliant thing that we have here. So you're off to a bit of a winner anyway, because I'm sure there's going to be a good chunk of people here that would definitely want to check your videos out anyway. I didn't have that, but you can still make those connections on social media, and then just keep it real, keep it honest, watch them back, see if you can make it engaging. Like, you might find you go on a bit too long. Maybe you do 10 minutes and you yourself, as you're watching it, are like, could probably cut it after 4. Well, then next time do 4 minutes, cut out the stuff you didn't like, make those improvements. Maybe the lighting's not right, we'll change it. Maybe the camera's not right, we'll change it. I mean, phones, I'll tell you now, I got to 40,000 subscribers using that. That was it. I didn't own a computer. I didn't own a laptop. I didn't own a PC. I can't stress enough how much I didn't expect the channel to do what it's done, or for it to be where it is. I started with that. That was it. I filmed, edited, uploaded, created thumbnails, did Twitter, did Facebook, did everything using that. That's how powerful that can be. And honestly, that'll get you to 50,000 plus. So don't overcomplicate anything. Keep it simple And yeah, just believe in yourself as well. Go out there and rule the world, my friend.
Dave, go ahead and
Right,
shout out your channel, bud. Shout out your channel, bud, while we're here. Go ahead and shout it out.
It's just simple. It's just my name. It's Dave in real life. So it's just search for my name, and you should find my channel. A lot of people in the community are already like well connected to the channel already, like Austin 316 and Killer Sasuke. They constantly watching videos, so it's really good.
Awesome, bud.
It doesn't surprise me that the community. I mean, the fact that we're even here with where we are with Insiders and everything. I mean, Insiders. All of this kind of came out of the fact that there was such a vibrant community that it was quite clear that there was a third. People want to just. I've never known anything like it. People just want to hang out with each other. That's the great thing about this, is that this is a community that really, and obviously it's growing in lots of different directions. Obviously, the Insiders are now creating their own community. They're going off doing Impact and all this other stuff, and bringing in their own fans and all of that, and it's amazing. But yeah, it's such a supportive place. And it's, you're echoing that with the fact that, as you said, people are checking out your channel, giving you that opportunity. Ask them for feedback as well. Ask them for
that's what I'm starting to do now.
Yeah, ask them to hit you in DMs or something, because sometimes people don't want to be brutally honest out in public. They'll be a little more honest if it's just one-to-one, maybe, So, let them come into DMs and talk to you that way, and give you the feedback so that you can genuinely grow and give them the kind of content that they would be looking for, because you're not going to get this right first time, but don't expect to. Just expect to do your best. Take on board the feedback, make the changes from watching the videos back, and take it in the direction that it's just naturally going. And if it's not working, then just reach out to me, reach out to Insiders, reach out to whoever, and we'll more than happy to help. So that's great. Really cool.
That's a great point, Dave, that he made, because if it weren't for the feedback that we got from the start, and we did, and we thank everybody every single day that we do a stream or anything, because without their feedback coming in, and we, some people sent us DMs every single day, and without that, you can't grow. Because you'll find out. I mean, my goodness, we moved our show to different days, different times, different nights. It's crazy. But now we kind of just got on a set schedule, and things are flowing a little bit. But yeah, I mean, everybody's been really great. They'll give you suggestions. They'll let you know if they think that something's not necessarily right. But yeah, everybody's been super supportive. So that's a great point. Absolutely great point. Thank you, Dave.
Cool.
Appreciate the question. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you, guys.
Great talking to you, Dave. Thanks for the support, man. Really appreciate it.
Good luck, man.
You're welcome. All right. Cheers. Thank you.
Amazing. All right, so the next one I've got for you, Daze, this is from Killer Sasuke in the community. So he could not be on, but he did send me his question over to ask you. He was one of the people that won, but couldn't because of the email situation and stuff like that. So here's his question. He wants to know if you have ever lost momentum for wrestling. And I guess what he means there is, like, have you ever lost interest? And if yes, how did you get the interest back in wrestling again?
Yeah, so shout out to Killer Sasuke. Great question. I think this is one that we chucked around on the Escape Pod. I seem to remember this coming up a little while ago. The answer is, have I ever fallen out of love with wrestling? I don't think I've ever fallen out of love with wrestling. I think that's a hard thing to do, because it's two people resolving a conflict through grappling, fighting, and there's I don't know, something quite primal about that. So I mean, like, it's the oldest sport in the world. Like it goes all the way back to like the cavemen. The cavemen were grappling and wrestling, and do you know what I mean? They weren't standing there doing Queensberry rules. Do you know what I mean? Like, they weren't boxing each other. They were like obviously lunging at each other, and they were spearing each other and all of this back in the day. So it is the oldest sport in the world. So no, I mean, I've never fallen out of love with it, but I think what has happened, and I'm sure this has happened to everyone, your priorities have to change. I mean, when I was a kid, I couldn't get enough of it. They couldn't do any wrong. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I was watching all of this stuff, and I never questioned any of it. It was just I was just consuming what I was given. Do you know what I mean? Like Vince was spoon feeding me whatever, and I was just like, yes, more, give me more. Didn't matter what it was. I mean, like I survived 1995, and that was an awful year. But I was still there, like, yeah, this is amazing. I love Diesel as champion, and all of this kind of stuff, even though it was awful. But yeah, it's. I think for me, once you start kind of getting to the point where you need to like find a job, you know, get work, figure out what your life's going to be about, then it becomes a lot harder then to maybe stay as focused on the wrestling week in, week out. And so I didn't fall out of love with it, but my priorities had to change. So I think actually a lot of the Attitude Era and the early 2000s very much for me was me still keeping up with the results, but there's a lot of weeks where I'm just reading what happened rather than watching anything. And don't forget as well, late night there's no internet to speak of, or if there was, I certainly didn't have it. So yeah, you know, the technological advances over the past 20 years have been mind-blowing, like unfathomable. So yeah, we're in a very different place now. So
absolutely. Well, thanks.
Is anyone else here fallen out of love with wrestling?
I know I did. I was
you?
Gone, yeah, I was gone from oh boy. When I found your community, when we came back around the time of the Funhouse, I was gone for a good probably 7-8 months before then. I just had gotten to the point where, and I think this may have had a little bit to do with Bray's previous character, because I liked the cult leader Bray so much, and then when they kind of did what they did with him, and he was gone, I got fed up. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. And obviously, before all the choices, we didn't have AEW, we didn't have NWA, we didn't have what we have now. So yeah, I just I got away from it, and then of course I always kept my eye on Bray. So I knew when he was coming back, because I you know, you would see things on social media and this and that. And so I knew when he was coming in. And obviously when I saw the vignettes, that brought me back. But yeah, I was gone away from it for a good probably 6-7 months or so. So
wow.
Yeah.
What, you didn't look at results or anything?
Nope. Nothing.
Wow.
Let's just let it go. I mean, yeah, nothing. I didn't even. I usually will play some. I had 2K that I've been playing for years and stuff like that too. I didn't even buy the copy of it that year, and yeah, I just kind of got it out of my system for a little while, and just wasn't looking at anything. Didn't watch it on TV. I found some other stuff to do and some other stuff to watch, and yeah, I got away from it for a bit. Yeah,
there's other stuff out there. Is
there?
What is this other stuff that you speak of?
There's a little thing called Netflix that kind of held me over for a while. Yeah.
Never heard of it. What about Jeff? Is Jeff there?
Jeff is doing a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes, getting the callers in. So I don't know if Jeff can talk.
Oh, okay. What about Jody then?
Doing stuff. But yeah, I think Jeff's story is similar to mine. I think he had gone away from it for a little while too. I don't know if he stayed away, because obviously Jeff has roots in the business. You know, he was wrestling for a while himself. So I don't know if he could completely stay away, but I know he had said to me before that he kind of had a similar story where in that particular period too, he was, you know, just kind of got out of it for a little while. So yeah.
It just dawned on me. What if there isn't a Jeff? What if it's just you? What if it's you and you put on a different voice?
I could not do what Jeff does. No way.
And this is actually, what if there's not a Jody? What if all three voices are Joe, and this is like Joe's personal fun house that I've stumbled into? Do you know what I mean? And Joe's got like split personalities, and I'm actually in danger right now. So
I try to do a really good Vince McMahon impression every now and then. So you might get an impression from me every now and then.
Oh, yeah. do the Vince. Go on, do the Vince.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to get my throat clear.
Here we go.
This is such good shit.
That is a good Vince. That is a good Vince. I will be the Linda to your Vince.
Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's move on before I try to do any more really bad impersonations. John Dioria is up next for our next question. So John is up next. I believe he is coming into the chat any minute now.
Come in, John. Come in out of the rain.
Coming on in.
Come on in. The door's open, mate.
Hey, Daze.
Hello,
There
how
he
you
is.
doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. This is great to speak to you. You are everywhere.
He is.
Like, every stream I ever go on, you're already you're first one there. I don't know how you do it. I swear you're in my streams before I've even set them up, and I don't know how you do that. So
I just refresh my page like a million times until your stream pops up on my subscription box.
dude, I totally believe that's what you do. I think you might even work for YouTube or something because you've got some kind of crazy access. You're in every stream all the time. Part of me wondered if you was a bot. Part of me wondered if you was even real or if there was just like this John bot that was going around that was just because you are, if you're honestly, you're like God, just like God.
Like the Messiah. Wrestling Daze Messiah.
It's great to talk to you, dude. Anyway, really, really do appreciate all of the support, man. I really, really do, and I'm sure I speak for all of the other channels as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you are absolutely everywhere.
my question is,
Yeah, go on, fire away.
what is your best 5 matches of the year and best worst 5 matches of the year?
Oh, that's going to be tricky to kind of pull off the top of my head. Okay, well, straight away I'm thinking, I mean, the one that comes to mind that I don't know if it counts is Orton and Edge. I mean, it got called the greatest wrestling match ever, which obviously we all laughed about, but man, that was such a great match. But I don't know if it counts as a match or if it's a cinematic match, and obviously we can debate that till the cows come home, but I do think that regardless of how you see it, it should still be in the conversation. Even if you're not saying that it's a match and it's not your match of the year, I do think it should be in the conversation. So I think it'd be wrong not to mention it at least. So I'm going to chuck that in. My favorite match straight away off the top of my head, AEW, that tag match between the Young Bucks, Kenny and Hangman Page from Revolution, which I think is the highest rated tag match by Dave Meltzer ever. He gave it 6 stars. And amazing that we got that in 2020. So that was a match from way back in like February. I really enjoyed Charlotte Rhea Ripley. I think WrestleMania for me is always the big showcase, the biggest show of the year. So to have the best actual match on that card should mean something. And for me, the best match on that card was Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. So I'd be throwing that in as well. I think we have to mention Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. That match from SmackDown was stunning. Absolutely incredible match. And Tyler Bate against Jordan Devlin from NXT TakeOver. I remember that match blowing my mind. I mean, I've got to tell you, that was before the pandemic hit. And I mean, like, that just feels like a different world now. So I don't even know if that was this year, last year, or when it was. It feels like a lifetime ago, a whole different lifetime ago. But yeah, I'd put that in there. What's yours? Whilst I've got you on the phone, what would you say? Give me your top 3.
Probably AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it?
I'm thinking some. Maybe the Royal Rumble 2020. Nah.
Men's or women's?
Men's.
Men's, okay.
And then
It's not easy.
It's hard to come up with those, isn't it?
Hey, John, this is what you did to me, John. This is what you feel bad now, John. Do you feel bad? Do you feel guilty now, John?
nah.
I can tell you one of mine real quick, and it came from Impact just a couple nights ago. The North against the Motor City Machine Guns. What a tag team match that was!
I saw a lot of excitement about them coming back. The Motor City Boys, or
Yes.
Machine Guns.
That was
so.
an amazing match. Go ahead, John.
I wasn't talking.
Oh,
Have you got a worst, John? What's your worst match of the year?
Fiend versus Goldberg.
Oh yeah. Do you know? I was just about to say
we don't talk about that.
Mattel made a figure of that today. I still can't get over it. Mattel have made a Goldberg figure with the Blue Universal. It's like of all the memories to bring back, that's one you want me to remember. How dare you? How dare you, Mattel? How dare you? Can you beat that, Jody? Can you beat that for worst match?
No.
Joe, can you beat it?
No, I don't think that was horrible. I'll never forget that moment because I was working that day, so I couldn't even see the pay-per-view. But I can remember somebody coming out of the lunchroom because they know I'm a big fan. They came out of the lunchroom and told me, they're like, "You are not going to believe how that ended." And I said, "What happened?" And then he told me, I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me." So I ran over and I quick turned on your stream and I heard you just go just stunned sitting there after that ended. And I'm like, "Oh, this is not good." And then I went and watched it. I'm like, "Oh God, that was awful." Awful.
I remember there was somebody on Twitter Days that did a side-by-side of mine and yours' reaction. And it was exactly the same. We're both just sitting there like, what the hell just happened?
Well, I always think about Jody when I think about that match, because I think it was Jody that was in the chat at the time that said that she was feeling nervous as I think Goldberg was coming down to the ring. And I can remember on stream,
I had a bad feeling.
I remember on stream saying, "Nah, don't worry about it. They know what I think this was my exact words. Don't worry about it. They know what they've got with the Fiend. The Fiend is very special. You know, they've invested loads in him. This is just to get him through to WrestleMania." And wow, that came back to slap me on the face, didn't it? So
yeah.
Don't worry, they know. I don't.
You know what happened there. You know what happened there. Goldberg is winning this match.
Yes, yeah, it was. Well, I mean, the rumors are Goldberg insisted Goldberg was winning the match.
Yes, he did, because he's a crybaby little girl.
After the news, I DM'd Goldberg on Instagram.
Well, you did what, sorry?
I DM'd Vince McMahon after this match saying, "You're a bad booker." And then,
"You, sir, you are a bad booker."
And then after the rumors that Goldberg wanting to beat the Fiend, I said, "You're trash at wrestling and you couldn't even do your finishing move."
Well, he couldn't.
Well, he didn't. The thing is, he didn't used to be. I mean,
Right.
in his heyday, he was great.
Right.
He doesn't know when to stop.
Yeah.
You stop
That's
when you
probably-
don't have it anymore. And after that Undertaker match that he had with him, he should have stopped.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's hard. I mean, looking at the Undertaker documentary, it's clear that it's hard
Yeah.
to stop, isn't it? It is hard to stop, but I'm not making any defense for him. I've got nothing that beats that either, John.
Jill,
Well, thank you for your question, John. Really appreciate that, buddy. And like
Yes,
Dave
John.
said, we really appreciate you coming into our streams as well as Daze's. I know you're really supportive of everybody out there. So thanks for coming on, buddy. Really appreciate it, man.
See you tomorrow for SmackDown Days.
I know you will, mate. You'll be there before me. I bet you're going into the SmackDown chat now, aren't you? I haven't even set it up.
Tomorrow,
Oh,
5:30, I'll be 6 o'clock. Refreshing my page until 7.
You don't need to do that, John. You don't need to do that. I mean, you know what time it's going to start. Just be there at that time. You don't need to be sitting there refreshing the page, my friend. Don't need to do that.
I like being in the chat early with William Hensey. Oh, you, John Savage.
Yeah, hey, look, this is what I keep saying. It's a mind-blowing thing that we've got here, where people. I mean, I can't stress it enough. There's people that love going into the streams before they even start, just so they can hang out with friends. I mean, do you know what I mean? That's what it's like. I see the same people in the chats just chat, hey, how's your day going? Whilst I'm setting the streams up, just watching them all just chatting away. It's like, do you know what? Most of the time I look at it going, I don't even think I need to be here. I'm pretty sure if I just put this up and just let people chat, and that's all people need. So yeah, man, it's amazing. So shout out to you. Yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to William Hensey. Shout out to everyone that's always in those chats early, man. It's amazing.
Thanks, buddy, for your question. Really appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, guys.
No problem, man. We are going on to our last caller. So our last caller for the day is. I think you just might know who this person is.
Hello, Linda.
Jesse from Callan Corner.
Oh, it's better than Linda. It's Linda. Callan Corner. Hello, Jesse Callan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
This is our first time talking, isn't it?
This is. How's that?
It's amazing to actually get the opportunity to sit down and talk to you. It's really strange. This whole thing has been very, very strange to actually speak to people that you just see in the chat all the time. So, man, thank you so much for everything you've done, because obviously you've been in the chat all the time and everything, but like all the Callan corners that people demand, it's not even request. People demand them from you and everything. So, and obviously you got your own channel now, haven't you?
I do.
How's that been going?
Put up something earlier, but I was like, it's too close to Daze's interview. I'll just wait. So I'm gonna put something up later now.
Oh no, you should have chucked it up, mate. You should have chucked it up, and then we could have been like, make sure you check it out. Well, are you going to put it up after?
I'm gonna put it up after this is over. It's
What is it? What's it about? Give us a cheeky little insider. What is it?
It is
just you and me. Yeah? What's it about?
It's reveal of the or review rather of the Eddie Guerrero box. The collector's.
Oh, what, you got it from the WWE shop?
Couldn't resist getting it. Bought it the first day. It was gone by the second.
I've seen that selling for quite a good price online. Like the resale value on that is quite high. The resale value on the Firefly Funhouse, the first one was quite high as well. So yeah, I definitely want to check that out. I hope they do more of those. I think they're brilliant.
I agree. I think they're awesome.
Is there someone that you would hope that they would do a box of?
I don't know, but I do know that I wish they'd make an Eddie Guerrero bleacher creature.
Okay. Have you got the Firefly Funhouse one?
I have Bray. I don't have the Fiend, but I have Bray.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I like with the hurt, and he's got hurt and heel gloves on, hasn't he?
He does. I love it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Did you see the figures that are coming out with the puppets and everything that was announced earlier?
Yeah, they're going to break the bank. I want him, and I'm just like, I can't afford all those, but I know I really want them, so I'm going to have to find a way.
Yeah.
Go donate some plasma.
Yeah.
Maybe I might just have to do that.
The hospital needs it. Go donate some plasma.
I'm sure I have plenty of plasma to give.
Hey, where are you as well?
I'm at my job. It's
you're at your job.
All instrument stuff behind me, because that's what I build. See, build musical instruments. Hold on.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
So I built those dulcimers. Hold on, camera's backwards.
That is cool.
Yeah. So
that's cool. And where are you? Are you like? I feel like you're I feel like you're around Bray's house. I feel like you're in a wooden cabin.
It's a shop. It's a shop.
Are you all right? Is everything okay?
Yeah, it's a shop. It's in my boss's basement. That's where he operates out of. So that's kind of why it looks like that.
I swear, look, if I ever got a job and the boss turned around and went, yeah, you'll be working down in my basement, I'd be like, nah, you're all right. You're all right. I'll see if Walmart needs me.
I got a tour before I ever applied for working here. So I knew that it was good. I knew what I was in for.
Do you play those instruments? This has turned into a chat now, by the way. We've now sabotaged the Insiders channel.
We took over. Sorry about that.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I can play some of them, by the way. Yeah.
You can. Oh, very, very cool. Very cool. Have you had any like famous clients?
We have my boss built a guitar for Emmylou Harris. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very expensive, beautiful guitar that he built for her. They get to go backstage with her all the time and get to talk to her every time she has a concert around here. They're like good buddies with her.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I honestly, right, thought that you was going to mention the name. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe in country music or something that I'd never heard of. So I mean, like Emmylou Harris is obviously one of the biggest like country stars of all time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's amazing. That's mind blowing.
It is. It's awesome.
That's very, very cool. Go on then, fire away. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Did you have a question?
This kind of worked for me because I've already asked you so many questions in the past that everyone that I thought of is stuff I already know the answer to. You know where the logo came from. I already know what got you started. I already know all that. So I'm just like, gosh, can't think of anything to ask. So I thought I'd ask you if you ever found a home for that Bray Wyatt art that I gave you. And I also thought that I would just ask you how you balance your life between hours upon hours of streaming and actually sleeping and eating and being a human being outside of YouTube.
That's a great question. They're both great questions. Of course, I found a home for the art. Sadly, it's not in this room. It's actually upstairs in my room upstairs. There's a study area that's upstairs. And I've got like a few wrestling pictures that are up there. I mean, I am going to flatter you now. It's where I put the nicer items because down here is a basement. It's well insulated and everything, but I don't know if you would necessarily run the risk of putting things on the wall that you really passionately cared about. I have to run the risk with a couple of things over there because that's obviously the background that I used to film on. But outside of that, there is nothing wrestling or like anything that has any sentimental value to me on anywhere else because this is it down in the basement. So it's actually upstairs in like the study room, and it's amazing. If you've not seen Jess's artwork, then you definitely have to check it out. Have you got like links on your Twitter, social media?
I still have work posted up for sale that's pinned, but I also am actually almost finished drawing another one that is also going to go for sale, and I'm also going to put that up, obviously.
I want one.
Oh yeah, you're definitely getting one, and so is Rusty, my devoted.
I think I don't know if we've done it before. I actually can't recall off the top of my head, but if you can send me just pictures of your art, I'll happily put it in the background of one of the streams. So yeah, we can absolutely do that. In regards to, hang on, so okay, that was the question about the picture. In regards to the sleep pattern, that one is quite tricky. It actually wasn't during the 100 days that we've just done. That amazingly was actually easier for a sleep pattern because everything was happening at the same time. So, like Raw starts around the same time as NXT, around the same time as SmackDown, around the same time as UFC. I think a lot of UFC was cancelled during that kind of period. I was setting the watch-alongs to be around a similar time as well. So it actually meant that I could kind of get into a bit of a routine. The problem that I have now is that I still have those shows that go on in the middle of the night here in the UK. But of course, life happens in the daytime. So it's really difficult. It's like tomorrow I've got a few things that I need to do in the day. So I do have to kind of plan of, right, I need to, like after this, I still need to edit the Wrestling Escape Pod. Then I need to try and get some sleep. Then I've got to get up to do the few bits I need to do. Then I need to think about, I'll probably only get about 4 hours sleep. So if that's all I get, that's all I get. But if I can get a couple of more hours later, then I'll try and fit it in. And you just have to kind of go on a day-by-day basis. This is why I've said it so many times, but when people go, have you seen this? Have you watched this? Do you watch this YouTuber? Do you? It's not. I think I think the insiders will back this up as well. I think when you don't have a channel and you're a viewer, you can kind of find the time to watch things. Like you just, I don't know, you just find the time. But when you're actually creating and when you're thinking of things, and because it's not just what you see, there's the whole learning about how the editing, the streaming, the Twitter, the communications, it's just life and everything. It's just it just all seems to get in the way. So it's one of the hardest parts. It's one of the hardest parts of it. The actual what you see, what goes onto the channel, is one of the easiest parts. I mean, like, people I think would look at YouTubers, big YouTubers, and I think they're quite envious because it's like, wow, look at all them subs, look at all those views, look at that, you know, that's amazing. All this, they only see the great stuff. Do you know what I mean? They only see the videos and everything's great and oh, what a life. The stuff behind the scenes, it's like, do you know what I mean? Not as great. So the sleep pattern is very, very difficult. That's one of the big challenges. But you find a way. You just find a way. Just get it done, you know.
See, I believe that because I've only done 5 videos counting today's, and I'm like, gosh, it takes forever to edit this stuff. At least it takes me forever.
I hate editing. Editing is do you know what? That's one of my passions. That's one of the reasons why I so enjoy streaming, because it's instant. And I feel like I'm all right at thinking on my feet. I think I'm all right at I just talk. I've just got a natural ability to just keep talking and reacting. And I think that I'm all right at doing that. But when it comes to like doing videos that need loads of editing, I really struggle with that. My strengths are definitely in what I do, which is streaming. When it comes to sitting down and trying to edit big videos and things, I mean, I've done some big figure videos that I've got to tell you that the editing process, when I finished it, it made me not want to do them ever again. Honestly, it did, because I would spend, there's videos I have spent about 12 hours editing, with just finding images that are good enough to use and then putting them in the right places. And, you know, there might be a video where I've needed 400 images, and it's just like staring at that workload is not fun. And so, yeah, I agree. Editing is the worst part, man. It's the worst part.
I would say I would just shout out to Jeff too, because honest to God, like the work he put into what was an audio show, it was incredible. Like, and there is no way on earth that I could have done any of that stuff, like making it look like a video when it was an audio recording. And I've seen audio podcasts. Most of the time they go on, they stay static on one screen. They have a picture there, and that's what plays the entire video. So, yeah, I can certainly imagine, because I know what kind of work that he puts into it. So, yeah, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the work that you guys put into it, and that's why you're getting the success that you're getting. You know, it's very, very obvious. Just, I mean, like earlier before we even started the stream, and I was like, is there any way we can, you know, get the things on? And it was like, here we go, done. Do you know what I mean? It's like you guys know what you're doing, and that
is all Jeff. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I knew it was all Jeff. I knew it wasn't you, Joe. I think we all know it's not you. Just so we're clear, everyone, it's definitely not Joe.
Jeff, no, I just do the goofy impersonations and make people laugh. That's all I'm good for.
You're good at that, though.
Yeah.
What else have you got lined up then, Jesse? Have you got? Is this something you're going to look to continue?
Yeah, I want to keep doing it because I enjoy it. I mean, I should be better at editing than I am because I went to school for it. But whatever. I have to learn the program still. But in terms of the channel, I do want to grow it, but it may not just be strictly wrestling. It may be other things too. So, because I like other things. I like anime. I like music. So. Might have other things.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be realistic about what you want the channel to do. I think it's very different. I mean, look, I could have I think I could have a bigger channel than where it is now if I was to do different content than the content that I do. I know that if I was to stick with figure videos and do more toy hunts, right? Like force myself to go out. Maybe the toy hunt quality wouldn't be that great because I'd be doing it so regular that they wouldn't be as great. But if I was to do more toy hunts, if I was to do more figure videos, if I was to play with the figures, do figure matches, if I was to do more in that world, every time I've done that, the videos have responded really, really well. Whereas if I do watch-alongs, you know, an average watch-along for an old pay-per-view will get X amount. But if I was to do a figure video, it will get X amount. Now, I know this. I choose to do what I do because I'm passionate about that, and that's what I want to do, and that's what brings me joy. I mean, I think that comes across in the watch-alongs. I genuinely love doing what I do. So I think that there is a balancing act, you know. I think it's right that you do what you're passionate about, because that will come through the videos, and people will then start to appreciate you for you rather than the content that you make, if that makes sense.
I agree with that.
So yeah, I think stick with doing what you're passionate about. If it means that you're gonna grow slower, but you're happier doing it, I don't think you can put a price on that, to be honest. I think that you just stick doing with what you.
Jesse, I don't want to put you on the spot, but there are an overwhelming demand from people in the chat for a Callan corner.
We need a Callan corner.
Jesse. So, you gotta answer your adoring fans here.
No, I don't say not. I should have had one ready just because I knew y'all were all going to ask for one.
Yep.
I don't know about.
We'll give you a couple minutes. Rusty Shackelford's dying here. He's
Callan corner.
Yes,
Callan corner.
Big boy Daily. Yes.
Is there a Callan corner book?
I think she does
There
have
is a Callan corner book.
There should be one this Christmas. There needs to be. That would be That would be on everyone's list in this community. Imagine if there was an official Callan's corner joke book.
Oh, she's
I
got
have
one.
something very simple.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so yeah, from my Callan corner book of stupid jokes that I searched on the internet. Okay, hold on, I lost it. Oh, I got it. Okay. Throwing acid is wrong in some people's eyes.
Callan corner. Callan corner.
There you have it.
I don't even need to see the chat. I'm sure there's like, yes. People will be getting their scores in.
They officially are doing that, yes.
Yeah, of course they're doing that. Of course they're doing that.
Oh, that's great. Obviously, we had to happen. We can't let Jesse be on the live show without a Callan corner. So There you go, guys. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jesse. Thank you for coming on tonight, and thank you for supporting us and Daze, obviously, as well. So we do have actually one more person to bring in. We have Daze fan, so he will actually officially
be on. Thank you, Jesse.
But thank you, Jesse. We'll talk to you soon. So we have Daze fan that we're going to bring in for the last question. So we have Dave. He should be joining in a bit here.
Is this Linda?
Hi, everyone.
There he is.
Oh, there we go. Daze fan, shout out to you.
Daze fan.
Thank you.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. It's great to speak to you. It's again, I've said this every time, but I really mean it. It's so weird to kind of put voices to names in the comments and everything. So, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is an honor. Shout out to you, man.
Thank you.
Where are you in the world? Where do you live?
I live in Jordan.
In Jordan? What, the country?
Yeah, I live in Jordan. It's 4 a.m. right now.
Whereabouts is? I love geography. Here we go. Oh, I'm all over this. Whereabouts is Jordan in relation to anything?
Okay, it's next to Saudi Arabia.
Okay, very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So, have you ever been tempted to go to the Saudi shows?
I mean, I'm planning to when I finish school and everything.
Okay.
I'm planning to go maybe next year because I'm finishing school next year.
Okay, what high school?
It's called college in my I call it college. Okay, so now I'm gonna finish school and go to college. But college isn't as school. It's easy. So it's in our country. It's easier.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you don't need to study every day and like that.
Oh, this is amazing. Right. Okay. Oh, I've got so many questions. What's it like watching wrestling in Jordan then? Like, I mean, like, is Raw and SmackDown on? What do people watch it? Are you the only wrestling fan in Jordan? Like, I don't know.
No, I don't know much friends that watch wrestling a lot, but I do have one. I mean, I just have one friend that watches wrestling with me. We talk about wrestling a lot.
So what? The Jordan Wrestling Fan Club is like you and your friend down the pub. That's it. just the two of you hanging out.
No, I mean there's a lot. I see a lot of people on Twitter talking about it. I mean,
okay. So there's a few people then. Okay.
Yeah, there's a few people.
Okay, and so I'm guessing they show Raw and SmackDown live.
Yeah, they show live, but the timing is terrible.
Okay, yeah. Well, you're going to be ahead of me, aren't you? What time does it air?
It does air at 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Oh, that's rough. It's
and you know what?
Well, go on.
It ends at 6 a.m. Then you got insiders. Then I need to go to school directly. That's what I do every day.
That hurts my head. That actually hurts my head.
That's some dedication right there.
That is. So what do you do? So you go. When do you sleep? Do you sleep? Have you ever slept? Have you ever tried it?
No. What I do is I stay at night. I watch all the wrestling. Then I go to school. Then I will go to home, sleep, and wake up.
So what? You tend to sleep about 6 in the evening or 7 in the evening?
No. I sleep 2 p.m. something like that, and I walk. Maybe I'll wake 9 p.m.
Okay.
That.
Wow, it's amazing, dude. It's absolutely amazing. So, you've never seen them live?
I watch all the shows live on my TV.
Yeah, but you've never seen them like in person?
No, I never.
Wow. Oh, and that's because I'm guessing you haven't had many opportunities, have you? They don't tend to go to that part of the world all that often, apart from like the recent Saudi shows.
I mean, they go just twice in a year. That's all.
Mm. And is there any other kind of wrestling over there? Is there like a Jordan independent wrestling? No,
there's not.
Is there anything that's like close to it? Is there like a traditional style of wrestling over there? I know that India's got kabaddi.
There's not.
No. Wow. So what? How did you get into it then? Did you just see it on TV?
It's actually my dad who was watch wrestling. Then I start watch with him, and I got into it. To be honest.
And what year was that?
I think 2009. I don't exactly remember. But I remember the first feud I saw I think was Jericho and Big Show versus the DX.
I'm going to be really patronizing probably, but your English is amazing.
Oh,
I'm guessing that's not your first language.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's really impressive. I can't speak any other languages, so I'm just sitting here like just amazed. Like we're just holding conversation here. It's really, really impressive. So you came into it in 2009 with Big Show.
Yeah, I remember seeing Big Show. I remember the first segment I saw. I don't know if it is, but I remember Big Show trying to choke some Hornswoggle, then DX make the save.
So you got brought into wrestling when Big Show tried to choke slam Hornswoggle, and you were
I remember that. I remember that is the first thing I saw, but what really got me into wrestling is John Cena and Nexus feud.
Oh wow, yeah, that was a great feud. In all fairness, that was a great feud. I mean, the ending wasn't so good, but yeah, that was a great storyline, though.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what do you have merch and stuff like this over there? Can you get a hold of like?
I can order, but right now I can't. They deliver to Jordan, but I can't order.
Okay.
Not at the moment.
Okay, but that option is available sometime.
Yeah, it's available.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to get into what it's really like to be a WWE fan in Jordan. I mean, unsurprisingly, I think you're the first person I've ever spoke to that lives in Jordan, and I find that amazing. I find that mind blowing.
Yeah,
it very much feels like a whole different world, you know.
and actually, yes, I would love to go to US. Do you know why? I just want to watch Raw SmackDown on like 8 p.m. I don't want to stay that long.
You only want to go to the US. The only draw about the US,
Yes.
you just want to. You're not even too bothered about seeing the shows live. You just want to be. You're just going to go so you can go to a hotel and watch it at a decent hour. Totally understand that. Just going to book into a hotel and just watch Raw and SmackDown at a good, and then get a good night's sleep. That's all the man wants.
That's exactly.
He doesn't ask for much, does he? Hey, look, you know what? A good night's sleep is a big thing sometimes.
Yes, it is.
Mate, I totally get it. It's worth the flight for that reason alone. Yeah.
And that's why I sometimes miss the streams. Sometimes I sleep and I wake, the phone is turned off. There's no charge in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens to me.
Wow, that's amazing. So, before you was like joining this community, if you will, what was you doing? Was you just like, was you part of like, have you been on YouTube long? Did you come to YouTube recently, or I don't know?
I came to YouTube 2017.
Okay.
And, do you know what? There's actually, before that, I was watching the show 1 week later. You know why? No, usually on our TV, they air Raw and SmackDown free. You literally don't need to pay anything. You don't need to have cable. You don't need to have anything.
Right.
But they air the shows week after.
Right. Makes sense. So you can watch the shows, but you just have to wait a week. Right.
Oh, but I didn't know. I didn't know that was a week after because I didn't have any Wi-Fi. So I'm always been thinking that's a new show.
Oh,
so
really? But I suppose it doesn't matter, does it? That's amazing.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Oh, you've been living a lie. You've always been a week behind and you never knew. Didn't you find it strange when it got to pay-per-views? And you was like, I don't remember that clip.
You know what? That actually happened to me. I remember, I don't remember what pay-per-view it was, but I think it was Payback, 2017.
Okay.
I remember maybe I started to watch the shows before Payback. Then I was going to internet to YouTube, and I saw a video of Payback results, and I saw videos clips, and I said, "What the hell?" The show didn't even is not even started or something. And I clicked on it and go watch it from Google.
In all fairness, though, it sounds like a dream if you could like just skip the go home shows. Do you know what I mean? If you're missing the go home shows, you're not missing anything really. They're normally the worst shows. So you're living a great life. You're living the best life, my friend. You can just be always a week behind. Get to the pay-per-view. Skip the go. Don't worry about the go home shows. Just, you know what I mean? Just keep living your life. But I suppose that means then you're always out of sync with all of us, aren't you? And everything. So. Oh man, it's so interesting.
The moment I started to watch your streams, I didn't care about the shows, to be honest. I just stopped watching Raw live because I only have one device. So what I did is just brought my phone, watch your live stream, then I go watch the show after the stream. So I didn't care about the shows at that time. But then when I got my phone, other phone, I started to watch both shows at the same time.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't have my any phone, just one. But to be honest, this channel got me more into WWE, more and more and more.
That's great, man. That's great. I mean, I feel bad as well because you know what I mean? You was watching wrestling for free. You didn't have to watch the go home shows. I mean, I really feel guilty. I feel like now I'm making you buy cable, and now I'm forcing you to watch go home shows, and it's like, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm doing you a disservice rather than a service. Nah, Matt, it's so good. It's so good to like speak with you and just really get that different perspective. Do you know what I mean? From like somewhere just completely different in the world, somewhere that, I mean, I find that so fascinating. I honestly could speak to you for a long time just about general. What's it like living in? What is it like living in Jordan? Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay, cool. I'll just believe you. I'm not gonna probe. I'm not gonna probe too much. I'm just gonna accept that it's good.
Yeah. So should I ask my question or not?
Go, do whatever you want, mate. Honestly, do whatever you want. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Do whatever you want.
So
I'm happy to talk.
This question is about the Fiend. Now, I saw a lot of people on Twitter wondering what's gonna happen with this thing. I'm ready to talk about. It's about what's next for the Fiend when he beats all of his past rivals. You know what I mean? Like he only got 5 on the list. You got Roman Reigns, you got Brock Lesnar, you got Taker, Randy, and I think the Demon. I'm pretty sure that match will happen. So when he beats all of them, or when he just passes them, what's next for him? Is he be official, or is he gonna be like showing it like now?
Well, I mean, I think it would be rude not to throw this over to Jody, who's very much the expert on this. So maybe we just go round the houses and kind of, because it's an opinion thing, we'll just give our thoughts. So what do you think, Jody, once the Fiend has beaten everyone that he's got a bit of a history with?
I think of it this way. I think the Fiend is always, so his whole MO is about revenge and getting revenge on people that hurt him. I think there are always going to be people that will betray him. Even now. I mean, look at what Braun Strowman did. He betrayed Funhouse Bray. So I think he's always going to have an enemy. I don't think he's ever going to be, obviously he's got his big, ticket items that he wants to go after, like Randy Orton and Roman Reigns, and but I think he's always going to have people betray him. So I think he's always going to have a job to do. I do think down the road, and this is something that may or may not have been told to me, he may have a faction way later down the road, like way later down the road. So that could happen too. I could see him forming a new Wyatt family.
What do you think, Joe?
I am going to say, and Jody's probably going to hate this, but I'm going to say that when he is done with all of the circles and all of the people that he's coming back to get, I'm going to say that's when they're going to pull the trigger on a Fiend versus Bray match.
No!
I knew she'd hate it, but I think, look, it's coming. I don't care what you say. It is coming. If Vince is still around, that match is going to happen. I know someday it's going to happen. Who they're going to get to play who, I have no idea. Maybe Bo comes back then and Bo plays the Fiend. Obviously, you could put somebody in a costume. So, get somebody similar size, I guess, to do it. But I have a funny feeling when this is all said and done, that's what's going to happen. Going back, though, to Jody's point, I mean, there are a lot of people who we forget that he feuded with. I mean, the New Day, people forget they had the feud with the New Day when he was with Matt Hardy. So, yeah, like to her point, and you can even really create revenge angles too.
Yep.
I mean, as he goes, you can kind of, I mean, they're already speculating for this coming week, and what's going forward here is that now the Fiend is going to be on TV and just kind of go on a rampage. I've read in many sources saying that that's what's going to happen. He's going to just start attacking random people. So if he does that, obviously he could go after Jeff Hardy. He could go at, so there's a long laundry list that he could end up checking off before this is all said and done. But I think before all of this is done, and maybe before he starts another faction, I think you're getting that like Taker versus Taker 2, but we're gonna see Fiend versus his other personality. I think that's gonna happen.
Or it could be like that theory we talked about on Abby's that week about the Fiend versus Abby.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to Bray versus the Fiend, I still think very, very strongly that Abby and the Fiend are natural enemies. So that would be a good way to end that, is have Abby inhabit somebody else like Bo Dallas and have it that way, and have Abby versus the Fiend, because I still think Abby is the only person that can defeat him.
Okay. Yeah.
She was always the one that kept him in check. They've both been with Bray for as long as he can remember. The Fiend was there from the beginning, and so was Abby. So, and then when Abby left, when she got separated from him in the Lake of Reincarnation, the Fiend came forward. So I think Abby was the one that always kept the Fiend in check. So I would like to see it go that way.
Here's the cool thing, though, Dave's fan, and this is why I love this character, because it's long-term storytelling.
Yeah,
it's an amazing character that you can just go and do. I mean, my goodness, we spend an hour on a show every week talking about theories. There's not many wrestling characters out there that you can do that.
And we love it.
Yeah, I mean, whichever way you steer it and which direction it goes, I think that, you know, it seems to me like he's got a large piece of the, you know, a lot of information that goes into this. I think he's got a story kind of fleshed out. We've seen that in some of the interviews we've done with his friends, with Kyle and Jesse and Jason Baker. I mean, there's a story fleshed out, and it looks as if, to me anyway, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on backstage behind the scenes, but it looks to me like he has a lot of input in this. So I think as long as that stays that way, then I think we're in for a ride. And I think it could be a long ride. I mean, look, he won't be around forever, so enjoy it. But that's what has me, you know, pulled in here, and I think it's going to go on for a good while.
So I just have one more thing for Dave, if you can answer this question.
Yeah.
It's a simple question. Would you like to see the Fiend versus Brock? Because for me, this is my dream match. I want this match so bad. I want it like so bad. I want this match not only because I love the Fiend, because Brock is my favorite. He's up there. I want that match. Do you think it will happen one day? And would you like to see it?
Well, okay. So let me answer your first question. What do I think will happen when the Fiend finally gets revenge on everyone? I think he will grab a microphone and he will go, "And now the end is near. My final curtain."
We do know break is 6, so
and he'll turn, he'll walk away, and it's going to be so emotional. Making stuff. Yeah, look, I mean, everything that they said in regards to that, I think you can take it in so many different directions with the Fiend, and I like the idea that you know, he's never done. You know, they can always find a look or something in the past. Like, do you remember when you looked at me backstage for like 2 seconds longer than you should have? Well, now I'm going to kill you. So they'll always find something. In regards to Fiend versus Brock, I do want that match, and do you know why I want that match? Because you so passionately want that match, and because you so passionately want that match, I now want that match. So,
you know what?
Yeah,
I wanted that match since the Fiend arrived. Since he arrived, I really wanted that match.
And who would you be rooting for?
To be honest, okay, Jody, prepare yourself. I want Brock to win. I would really. I mean, look. If he loses to Fiend, I wouldn't mind it. But if Brock wins, I wouldn't mind it. If they booked the match as a 20-minute match and a good match, I would not mind it. And do you know what? I want to see that match at the main event of WrestleMania.
When was it they were supposed to have a feud and it didn't happen?
You know
Cult
what?
leader Bray and Brock were supposed to have a feud, and it didn't end up happening.
You know, they had a feud before the Royal Rumble. They the White family started to attack Brock Lesnar on the face-to-face show. Yeah, they started to attack him. But at the Rumble, Brock eliminated all of them except for Bray. Then they returned to the ring and eliminated Brock. Then they had, I think, a match at Bloodbath. So there's a history between them. I think that will happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh man,
but I think I remember they were supposed to have a match at a pay-per-view that didn't end up happening after they had all this beef with the Rumble. I don't remember what pay-per-view that was.
Block. Yeah, it's Block.
Yeah, that was it.
It was Brock versus Luke.
But
are you an encyclopedia? Because like, you're like, yeah, it's Roadblock. Yeah, it's just before the Royal Rumble. Yeah, this happened.
Well, if I asked my husband, he'd say the same thing. He would know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh man, my memory is just. I wish I had a better memory. I wish I had the ability to do that more. But yeah, that's very, very impressive. That's very impressive. So are you, I'm guessing just from speaking to you in the few moments that we have, you really do come across like a really passionate fan.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, do you find it quite isolating in Jordan being that passionate about something that's maybe not that popular? Is that what brought you to YouTube?
I mean, what brought me to YouTube wasn't wrestling, you know what I mean? Just when I get my internet, I just wanted to go to YouTube and watch, like, explore things, you know what I mean? But when I heard, like, from my brother that it's 1 week later, then I went just to go see what's happening. Like, and I saw Payback, and I mean, I went. Do you know what? After I saw that video, I just went directly to watch the pay-per-view. I was about to, like, just seeing the normal videos, but then I went to watch that pay-per-view just directly.
That's amazing. I mean, the more I speak to you, the more that I find out, the more I'm just mind blown. Do you know what I mean? Just like every time you say it, it's like, wow, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, like, you just wanted to. I mean, that must have been a big moment when you found out that you'd always been a week behind.
Yeah.
That must have been
a very shocking moment to me.
Yeah,
like, I didn't believe it. I thought it was fake. What is this? I thought it was fake, and yeah, I was happy, to be honest, because I can watch it anytime. I don't need to wait to put it again on TV, so I can watch it every time.
That's really.
And
cool.
You know what?
Go on.
On Google, I've been using the same site till now because I can't get the network in here right now.
Okay, so you've got a special site that you go to.
Yeah. I always go watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you would go to watch wrestling?
Yeah.
Would you say that you would go there to watch wrestling? Is that what you do on this site? Yeah.
Yes, I would go to watch wrestling, watch this all this stuff.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. I got you. We know each other here. We know what's going on. No, that's amazing, man. That is absolutely amazing. It's I honestly, I could sit here for a long time just chatting to you, but I think I would have met a few people if we were just exploring the wrestling world in Jordan and everything. But,
yeah.
No, man, that's really, really cool.
Daze fan is a great guy. He's in our chat all the time. Daze fan likes to he likes to turn heel in our chat in Insiders.
You know what?
Hello. Is he a troublemaker? Have I showered all this praise on him and he's actually a troublemaker?
You know what, Joe? Joe, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
I am a better heel than you.
Oh, see now you have to go and do that. See? Oh. All right. Okay. All right.
Well, everyone's on to you now. So now we know a little bit more about you.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Thanks for coming on, my friend. Really appreciate that, buddy.
Nah, man, it's awesome. Great to speak to you, dude. Thank you for coming on.
I'm really happy. Thank you, guys.
Take care, man.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Very cool. It's amazing to see. Just and you had said this earlier, and you know, at the end of our shows and everything, we say the same thing all the time. It truly is an incredible community, an incredible bunch of people that Jeff and I have come to get to know. And just in these 3, 4, 5 months that we've been a part of it, and I imagine, for you, Daze, as well, it's gotta be incredible to think at times like that you're reaching people from all over the world. It's amazing. I mean, and we're just kind of seeing little pieces of it, but it's unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, but that is the power of wrestling, and one of the big strengths of wrestling is the fact that it is a universal language. I mean, you can show a match with no commentary to anyone in the world, and if the match is done right, they'll be able to follow the story. I mean, I can enjoy Japanese matches not knowing a single word in Japanese, and I can have the Japanese commentary on because they're very animated. They're very animated on Japanese commentary. I haven't got a clue what they're saying, but when they're screaming their heads off, I do find myself going, ah! Just screaming along as well. And the matches are so good that you can still get into them, and you can still follow the story, even though the language isn't there. And that universal aspect means that we have people from Jordan that are joining us, and people all over the world that watch, because as we said, it's a universal language. So it's a very, very powerful thing. And it's a very humbling thing as well, because it's brilliant that so many people choose to spend their time with us. That is absolutely not lost on me. So hopefully we can just continue to do our best and give people what they enjoy,
Absolutely. And it's great to see that everybody's, I mean, we talked to a few people tonight. Jesse, obviously we talked to Dave in real life now, and DJ B Tazzy, I see him in chat, and everybody's kind of doing their own thing. I know Coaster's gone off and done some stuff too. So, I mean, that's awesome too. It's an inspiration to see that other people want to kind of do it because, they've come in here and seen, you do it and seeing other people. So, yeah, I mean, that's cool too. That's really awesome. Really
I think a lot of it comes down to belief in yourself. I think what I've found from just speaking to people is there's a lot of people that are in a similar position to where I was. They want to talk about wrestling, and we really do try to read out as many comments as we can and go through as many comments on the live streams, and then obviously out of that, the insiders came from wanting to go that little bit further and give the community even more of a voice. And obviously, you guys are knocking it out of the park now with all of that, and I know that people absolutely love what you guys do, and so you play a massive part in that, in making people feel that they can express themselves even more. So yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, I don't know. It's so to actually stop and think, really think about it, it's very, very difficult to kind of wrap your head around. But I think what we have done is give people confidence that, hey, look, you can do this. If this is something that you want to do, as you've seen from Dave and Jesse, and as you said, if there's people out there that do want to create their own videos and things like that, go for it, man. Go do it. Just, yeah. Don't think about it. Do it and make the changes that you need to make as you're going along. And I'm always, I don't care who it is, I'm always happy in the DMs to reply to people if people are stuck on something. I can't help you much with deep, in-depth YouTube stuff. But what I do know, I can certainly try and help you out with. But I think a lot of it just gets overcomplicated. People think there's cheat codes to YouTube and all this, and there just is. There just is. If there is, can someone send me them, please? If anyone does know of them, because I'm not aware as to what they are. But yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a ride. I mean, for a person like me, I'll just tell you, going from, I started in journalism back when I came out of college. So this is back in the late 80s. Didn't really get to go through it very much, doing kind of newspapery kind of stuff. And then, got away from it. Worked in retail for 29 years. My oldest daughter came up to me one day and said, "Dad, why don't you try doing this podcasting stuff? It's really easy now." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm all about easy." So I'm like, okay, why not? And gave it a shot. And I'll tell you, I mean, that's one thing I will say. I mean, I'm 50 years old, so I will tell you, you're never too old, or you're never too young.
I thought you was 21. Are you sure you're not 21?
Yeah, well,
we're all 21.
Yeah.
In my head, I am. Yes. In my head I am, but it's insane what you can. I mean, the people we have spoke to, so in the last 4 months, the wrestlers, the talent, the people from other areas we have spoken to is insane. If you had ever told me I was going to talk to Nikita Koloff or the NWA Women's Champion, or it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I mean, obviously this whole thing this year helped with a lot of that because people were stuck at home, but absolutely crazy. So don't ever doubt yourself with any of that kind of stuff, because you never know. Like Dave said, you never know until you try it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I can't even begin to say how much I've enjoyed. I knew I would, but Yeah, this has been great. So I'm definitely down for doing this again, and hopefully, if there's people watching that maybe didn't have the technology at this time to ask a question, or maybe just missed the cutoff point, or maybe didn't have the confidence this time, maybe now they've seen the vibe of it, the feel of it, they might feel a little more confident next time, or they might be able to get the technology sorted for next time, or I don't know. I definitely feel like this is something, if people wanted, something that I would be certainly open to doing again, because just getting the opportunity to speak to people directly is a real treat, because I don't know how to do this. Right, I get a lot of people saying, why don't you have calls on your thing? And it's kind of like, I could, but yeah, I'm just, so busy and everything, when secretly I haven't got a clue how to do that. So this is a dream.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was awesome. Well, listen, we know you got to get out there and edit your stuff and everything like that. So thanks to Daze for joining us tonight. Obviously, loved having you here and getting some of these questions answered. And we will see you all tomorrow for SmackDown, man.
Yes, thank you all very, very much. Really, really do appreciate it. And shout out to the great work that the Insiders do, man, and for giving me the platform to speak with you guys here. So shout out to Jeff, who we're not sure if he is a separate person or not, but shout out to him. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Jody. Shout out to Brandy. Shout out to the Insiders, the Outsiders, and everyone in between.
There you go. Awesome, man. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And we will talk to you tomorrow for Hot Tag. Daze will see you tomorrow on SmackDown, and then the Escape Pod as well. Have a great rest of your night. We'll talk to you really soon. Take care, everybody.